Hello students, welcome to EPG. Now you are going to see about energy management. We'll see the introduction of energy management. Energy is the basic requirements of every person for maintenance of life, growth and physical output. Time can be planned and monitored according to the activity, but it's not easy to plan and monitor the energy requirement as per the activity. It varies from person to person and is influenced by the activity. And it varies from person to person and is influenced by the physical and physiological body parameter. The energy is obtained through the dynamic biochemical reactions in the body and is utilized for maintenance of basal metabolic process, promoting growth, regulation of body temperature, performance of various physical activities. Energy is intangible. Energy resource occurs in limited amounts and its management should be directed towards maximizing as much possible the use of this valuable resource to ensure that you have enough energy remaining to meet your other demands. This necessitates becoming aware of our physical actions and the effect of our attitudes upon this resource. Energy in stages of life cycle. The energy demand of the homemaker varies according to the stages of the family life cycle. Energy demands are usually lowest during stage 1, that is beginning stage. If the homemaker works outside the home, however, the homemaker must learn to divide her energy between the demands of her outside work and her home responsibilities. In stage 2, the period during which the family is expanding, the children starts going to school, meeting all the family demands both inside and outside the home requires great deal of energy. When the children reach college and a working stage, stage 3, that is contract stage begins. As their energy loads lighten at home, many homemakers resume professional and outside interest. During this stage, energy supply may diminish and physical disabilities may require the reshaping of energy spending pattern. Let's see the energy cost of households and occupational activities. A combination of several types of efforts like manual effort, mental effort, visual effort, torsal effort and pedal efforts are needed to perform any activity. The energy cost change according to the combination of the types of efforts used for each activity. In order to have well-balanced energy expenditure pattern, the homemaker need to know the energy cost of various activities. The energy costs are calculated based on the oxygen consumption per minute or the heart rate while performing the activity. The household tasks mentioned in the various studies have been classified according to energy cost as light, moderate and heavy and are given in table. Let's see the energy expenditure in various activities light, moderate and heavy. The first one is for light: hemming, knitting, crocheting, darning, hand sewing, machine in sewing, preparing meals, washing dishes and dusting furniture and floors and sweeping the floors. For light activities, the color is burnt up to 1.4 to 2 calories per minute. For moderate and all, the color is of for moderate activities 2 to 3.5 calories per minute. That is using carpet sweeper, using vacuum machine, vacuum sweeper, polishing furniture, kneading dough, wringing clothes, hanging clothes and ironing the clothes. These and all are moderate activities. Next we'll see about the heavy activities. This heavy activities includes, it burns 3.5 to 4.5 calories per minute. That is, the first one is scrubbing the floor, mopping the floor, waxing the floor, taking out and laundry, then washing the kitchen floor, bed making, lifting heavy buckets of wet clothes and lifting children. Most tiring activities. Many homemakers indicated cleaning and caring for the house, washing, ironing tasks were most tiring. The use of resources, time and energy are very important for this energy management. Clear understanding on how energy can be managed is also important. Since time and energy are related resources, especially for the homemaker who has to go out for work besides working in the house. Wherever more time is spent on a task, it also means a highly expenditure of energy resources. Next, the efforts used in homemaking activities. Whatever may be the activity to be performed, it requires several types of efforts like mental effort, visual effort, manual effort, torsal effort and pedal effort. Each effort demands different quantity of energy expenditure. We'll see one by one. The first one is mental effort. It is required to do any task, even the routine task like cooking, cleaning, washing, etc. Though these tasks are performed daily, still one has to think about the way in which it has to be performed and mentally organize the task in sequence. Second one is visual effort. It involves muscular movement of the eye and adjustment of vision to the object at different distances, and lighting conditions continuously take place while performing any work. Next work is manual work or manual effort. Manual effort is required for all the household activities to be performed like cooking, cleaning, mopping and washing, etc. Next is torsal effort. Torsal effort involves movement of the torso and hence it is termed as a torsal effort. These include bending, leaning, raising, turning, etc. These are needed in doing more strenuous activities have heavy energy demands. Next one is pedal effort. Some of the home activities require a combination of more than one type of effort. In order to have well-balanced energy expenditure pattern, the homemaker needs to know the energy cost of various activities and also which activities is more tiring one. The energy costs are calculated based on oxygen consumption per minute or on a heart rate, that is beats per minute. Next we'll see about ways of controlling energy expenditure. There are many ways which can control energy expenditure and also reduce our fatigue. The person performing the activities and the type of activity are deciding factors in choosing the methods of controlling energy expenditure. In any given job, energy consumption can be reduced by various activities. The first one is developing an improved mental attitude towards the work to be done. Second one is eliminating unnecessary steps or combining new steps and processes in work. Next one is arranging steps in any activities in a sequence. Using efficient equipment and other materials for convenience. Arranging needed equipment and other materials according to convenience. Maintaining correct body posture while working. Developing rhythm in doing work. Improving skills and techniques. Doing work with rightly spaced adequate rest periods. Then developing motivating conditions in working conditions. Then last one is body mechanics. So among this, body mechanics is very important. Body mechanics deals with the body movement. Body mechanics is science dealing with the body forces and motions. The word mechanics suggests a relationship to the functioning of the body. It was stated by Esther Crew Bratton, that is, your own body constitutes your most important item of household equipment. It is well worth of the effort it takes to acquire understanding of how the body functions in work and to develop skill in using the body effectively. Next is we'll see about the energy and the relation of work environment. According to Dr. Marvin Mundell has described 5 factors that influence the character of work environment. There are 5 important steps which influence the energy and the character of work environment. That is, the first one is change in hand and body motions. The work can be simplified by using each part of the body properly and effectively. It can be achieved by first is keeping the body parts in alignment. Second is using muscles effectively. Next is rhythm in movements. Then considering the center of gravity both of the body and of articles handled. Last one is taking advantage of momentum. Second one is change in equipment and work environment. It includes the change of equipment and work is achieved by using labor saving devices, plan of work surfaces at proper height, depth, and with proper tools and sufficient storage devices and lighting facilities will also improve the efficiency of work. Next one is change in production sequence. Household activities are accomplished and time is saved by simplifying the work through combining the household tasks and avoiding the unnecessary steps during the activities. Fourth one is change in finished product. Work simplification could be achieved by changing the standards or expectations of finished product. Last one is change in material. It refers to the change in the raw material to get the same finished products. Next we'll see about the fatigue. Fatigue is the tiredness which one feels after continuous of work. Posture and use of the body muscles are very important for performing a task. According to Borley, fatigue or tiredness is reactions of person as a whole situation as he consciously interprets and evaluates it. It is simply one form of inadequacy to meet the demands the person recognizes. There are many factors of work which influence the fatigue. There are first one is mental approach, postural approach, muscular tension, amount of concentration, adequate skill, lack of work appreciation for the work done, unfamiliar working condition, frustration, interruption, unexpected demands on her time and energy. Let's see about the types and classifications of fatigue. Fatigue may be classified into two types. The first one is physiological fatigue, second one is psychological fatigue. We'll see the physiological fatigue. Imbalanced posture while performing a task and inefficient use of these muscles and muscular effort causes physiological fatigue. That is, keeping the body parts and major body weights in well-aligned position is essential to avoid fatigue at work. Next one is psychological fatigue. Sometimes fatigue may occur even when there is enough energy to do work. This will also result in reduced output. This is called as a psychological fatigue. Just as physiological fatigue results in reduced output of work and aversion to work. Similarly, psychological fatigue too results in an aversion to work further and reduced output. It is very difficult to define or measure as it consists in rather vague subjective states. It is not localized in the body. This psychological fatigue can be classified into two types. That is, namely, one is boredom fatigue, second one is frustration fatigue. We'll see about the boredom fatigue. This results from the non-coincidence of experiencing two durations of time, that of work being slow and irksome, and that of the mind which longs to be elsewhere. We experience the activity as continuing without change, whereas the mind is ready and eager for change. Studies have shown that the bored time at work was judged longer than to those not bored. Boredom appears probably that boredom increases sensitivity to objectionable features connected with work, such as noise, atmospheric conditions, troublesome materials, etc. Dr. Borley found the most boring period to be last hour of both morning and afternoon work periods. Next we'll see the frustration of fatigue. This may be regarded as an experimental pattern arising in a conflict situation in which the general alignment of the individual may be described as an aversion. This particular pattern involves feelings of limpness, bodily discomfort, and general tension which are undesirable as well as result in inadequacy for activity. When plans fail to work out and goals cannot be reached, or when conflict situations arise which call for the weighing of alternatives in the making of decisions and the seeking of new goals, a person may experience the feelings of frustrations and increased tensions. Fatigue which result from such conflicts is a part of the total picture of frustration. Next we'll see about causes of fatigue. As a background for considering the physiological and psychological aspects of fatigue, we can look at some common situations in which we experience fatigue, situations that are often associated with feelings of tiredness. These situations can be summarized in a non-technical way. They are as follows. The first one is a long period of mental or light physical work in a restricted or uncomfortable position. Second one is a long period of work in a standing position. Next one is a long period of making continuous postural adjustments such as when riding a car. Next is a period possibly short of heavy physical exertion, working at a disliked task. Then is working at an unaccustomed task. Next is working a task that requires a close attention or extreme alertness. Next is working under pressure, for example, when meeting a deadline. Next is working without sufficient knowledge or information. The last one is emotional stress, whether working or not. Next, see in detail methods of relieving fatigue. The homemaker can take some of the steps listed below to remove or avoid fatigue so that she can continue to perform work effectively. The first method of removing fatigue is introduced rest periods in between the work. Rest periods are of values both for increasing output and for alleviating fatigue. The kind or rest periods should be related to the completeness of relaxation. Second one is having proper workplace and proper equipment. Good environmental conditions, proper equipment like the table according to the homemaker's height, adjustable shelves in the kitchen, etc. can also aid in reducing fatigue. Third reason is appreciation of the work. When the homemaker is appreciated by the family members for her work, it motivates her to do the work more effectively without any complaints of feeling fatigued, and appreciation also as an incentive for the worker. Last one is giving incentive to the worker. The homemaker can give incentive to her children to do work, like promise them that she will take them out if they help her in the work. Next is we'll see about the management process applied to energy expenditure. Managing energy involves the making of activity plans as well as carrying them out and evaluating the results. In energy planning, knowledge of the energy cost of different activities, one's skills and ability to turn out work, and the effects of fatigue helps to measure energy expenditures. Developing skills in fitting activities of daily living into the minutes and hours of the day conserves emotional and physical energy and stimulates greater efficiency in work. Skills of this kind leads to greater mental flexibility in the management of energy and in carrying out of activity plans. Work simplification, the effective use of body in housework and the skillful performance of homemaking tasks or the tools enable a homemaker to conserve time, and energy will be available for all other activities and interests. So, energy management is very important for doing all those activities. So, while planning your work or other activities, we have to plan and we have to conserve our energy, depends upon our energy management.